Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we have a really special review actually. This is review number 1666. So this was the foundation year of Lund University, but it's also the number of the beast plus 1000, so yeah, even more satanic than normal I would say. So as I did for review number 666, I've got quite a satanic beer for us to have a look at today. So for this one we are going to return to Norway, which of course is the home of black metal and all of these kind of things, and we're going to have a taste of another beer from Oslo, but this is one that I bought in Kiosk over in Copenhagen, maybe about a year and a bit ago actually, so I have had this beer a little while rather than, I went up to Oslo quite recently as well, but this beer was bought a good bit before that trip. So for this one we're going to do my second review from Cervisiam, and we're having a taste of their Satanic Panic. Now this is an Imperial Stout coming in at 10% ABV. This one has oats, wheat, vanilla beans, espresso and cocoa added to it, so it should be a little bit of a monster. So very much looking forward to this one. Some awesome artwork as you always get from Cervisiam on the can as well, and you know, just hail Satan. It's actually quite funny when you read about what Satanism actually is these days. You know, women should have equal rights, gay people should have equal rights, we shouldn't judge people based on arbitrary standards and stuff like this, so it is actually quite funny in a lot of ways. Satanism seems quite compatible with democracy in comparison to certain other religions, so yeah, something I've always found rather ironic. But this beer of course is named after the Satanic Panic phenomenon that was going around in the 1980s, where everyone, I think it was all the Americans really, were scared that they were being cursed by Satan and stuff like this. So yeah, thought this was a very cool beer to review for number 1666. Hail Satan. So yeah, let's get on with the review then. So as always with my reviews, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that I've done from Cervisiam before. No doubt there will be some more in the near future. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel of course has a geography based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Norwegian beers that I've reviewed for you. That's being added to whenever I get the opportunity, and as always please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, on to my brewery notes then, to tell you a little bit about Cervisiam then. So Cervisiam, as I mentioned to you earlier, are based in Oslo, the capital city of Norway, and they were founded back in April 2015 by three friends. This is Pushkin Hammer, Martin Boronder and Shea Martinsson. So they started homebrewing together in Martin's basement in early 2013, and they called their early creations Brewmans, and they went on to win a few competitions, and this actually led to one of their beers, the Citrus Warehouse, being brewed on a larger scale at the Crowbar Brewery, which is a sort of kind of small microbrewery brew pub kind of thing in Oslo. I never got the chance to visit that one when I was there, but that's one that's on my list for the next time I go up there. But soon they started doing contract brewing, and they've been brewing at various different breweries around Scandinavia. So then they've been brewing in Sugards. They brew a couple of beers at Dugges Bryggeri in Gothenburg, the Alsman Bryggeri, which is in Norway, and Ego again, which I think is still in Norway as well. But today they're a 7-person team, and in 2017 they opened their first bar, which is called the Gjøkeredet, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, which is basically the Cuckoo's Nest in the Grunland neighbourhood of downtown Oslo, which is a little bit over to the east of the main town from what I remember. We were in Grunland a little bit, the Greenland basically, and they're also in talks to open up their own brewery from what I understand at the moment as well. I'm not sure how those are progressing, but as I say, these guys are in the process of looking to actually start up their own place, which is pretty cool. So yeah, a really interesting beer, this one. I've not had an IPA or anything from these guys yet. That's something I really do need to keep a lookout for the next time I'm over in Copenhagen, because we can get quite a few of the Norwegian beers in Copenhagen. As I've mentioned to you a few times on the channel, Copenhagen has a sort of free market when it comes to alcohol. Sweden, Norway, Iceland and also Finland don't. They have the state monopolies, the Vinböden, the Vinmonopolet, the Systembolaget and also the Alko over in Finland as well. So yeah, that's all you really need to know about the brewery just now. A brewery that seems to be getting quite a lot of plaudits in recent times, and hopefully I can review some more of their IPAs over the coming months for you, but I always enjoy reviewing beers from this brewery. So yeah, let's get on to the actual tasting of this beer itself then. That's all you really need to know about the brewery. If you want to learn a little bit more, check out the brewery website in the description below. You can follow them on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that, and that will keep you up to date with all the latest goings on there. But as I mentioned at the start of the video, this one is a 10% Imperial Stout. It's brewed with oats, wheat, molasses, lactose, vanilla beans, espresso, apparently a special blend of espresso from Jacobsen and Svart, quite a well-known Norwegian espresso company, or coffee company I should say, sorry, coffee roastery, and also cocoa, so it should be a little bit of a beast. So yeah, I'll just let you have a little look at the artwork of this one before we open up. We can get rid of the brewery notes now, and there you can see that awesome, almost black metal satanic type artwork on this. I think that's very, very cool. You know, I'm a huge metalhead myself. I love particularly doom metal and folk metal I'm into. I'm not so much into the black metal and stuff like this, but I love a good little bit of metal, and some of the artwork that you get on the metal album covers is awesome, and I always still buy the CDs for the metal albums that I buy. So absolutely, you know, I love stuff like this. This review number 1666, of course you've got to do a satanic beer. You know, I studied astrophysics and stuff like this too. I'm an astrophysicist by trade, so I always find this whole thing about Satanism it's quite funny, actually. It really is. But yeah, the Satanic Panic Imperial Stout. Satanic Panic is a sociological phenomenon that first arose in the early 80s. Everyone was horrified of being subjected to satanic ritual abuse. We have conjured a satanic ritual in the form of a dark, thick Imperial Stout brewed with vanilla, molasses, cocoa nibs, lactose and freshly roasted coffee. This is our over-the-top tribute to the darkness. Hail Satan. Yeah, it doesn't say Hail Satan on the can, I just like adding that in at every opportunity. But yeah, lovely presented beer, this one. This can is one that I will definitely be holding on to. So yeah, without further ado then, let's get this guy out and we will get on with the tasting then. There you can see the Danish import sticker on this one. So yeah, let's get it out and into the glass. Norway, of course, if you didn't know, is not in the EU, but they are part of the European Economic Area, from what I remember, if I'm saying that right. And Switzerland, I think, have a slightly different agreement. They're in the Customs Union, but not in the EEA. And Iceland, I think, are European Economic Area and within the customs movement and freedom of movement, something like this. But yeah, as you can see with this beer, and as you would expect, it's poured a lovely dark ebony rosewood colour. You know, it has to be dark when it's satanic. But yeah, a lovely dark ebony rosewood colour. If I hold it up to the light, not much light coming through it. It does have a little bit of a kind of Coca-Cola edge to it, which is very nice, but there's a solid finger of a frothy, I would say, quite a rich beige colour head to this one actually. Oh, stuff falling over. But yeah, a lovely kind of rich beige tan head to this one, which is nice. You can see I would say it's a sort of very light beigey tan colour. I'm not sure how well you're seeing that on the camera actually, but yeah, nothing overly surprising about this beer in terms of its appearance, with it being an Imperial Stout. One or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass there, and a few little ones just heading up towards the bottom of that head. But you know, overall it does look very, very nice. So yeah, let's take a closer look at the aroma then and just see how we get on with this one. Oh, that smells absolutely beautiful. That smells like a really, really awesome beer. Yeah. I'm guessing the kids upstairs will be gaming, not being subjected to Satan, of course. If you heard that, I'm not sure if the camera picked that up. But yeah, this one is a really, really nice aroma. It's mainly it's the espresso that's kind of jumping out at me at the moment. It's got the espresso, and I've always said this about the kind of coffee stouts, if you like. It's a style I've been getting really, really into recently. Cervisiam Bryggeri here in Sweden are one of the best producers of coffee stouts in my opinion at the moment. But for me, this beer has an absolutely lovely, the coffee note in this beer, it's a little bit earthy, but it's actually quite floral at the same time, I'm finding. It's got a lovely smooth earthiness to it, but it's also got a slightly sharper floral edge, and the coffee beans can give you a real complexity to these big Imperial Stouts, and this one certainly is adding a lot to this beer. Yeah, and the coffee's almost just a little bit citrusy as well. Definitely a nice floral, citrusy, and an earthy, roasty quality to the to the beer as well, or to the coffee bean, even just to the coffee bean aroma actually, which is really nice. You can smell, if you take this beer in a bit more deeply, you can definitely smell the lovely vanilla sweetness in there. There's a good balance with the chocolate as well. You've got some of these darker, higher percentage cocoa aromas coming out of this one, but at the same time the vanilla flavours are giving it a more milky chocolate, and I'm guessing the lactose will be helping out with that as well. So there's a whole host of things going on. It has a really good balance, this beer, between the coffee side of things and the sweeter side of things. So I think probably a fair way to describe this beer, and I've not tasted it yet, bear in mind, I think this one will be along the lines of a sort of sweet Imperial coffee stout, which is quite nice. So yeah, just bear that in mind with this beer, that the aroma of it is very, very nice. There's definitely a little touch of a red fruity note to this one, a little bit of a sharper kind of, there's a little bit of a slightly sharper red fruity aroma in there. I would say it's got a little bit of a raisiny note to it. I think that's fair to say. Definitely some figgy qualities as well, and the hops are pretty straightforward. You know, it's pretty much a straight earthiness out of this one. You can pick up a little bit of floral quality, but I think that might be being distorted a little bit by the coffee beans in this. But you know, overall the aroma of this beer is very, very nice. It doesn't jump out of the glass too much at you. It's quite a subtle aroma, so you need to spend a little bit of time and just sugar the beer around before you before you take in, before you actually have a taste of the beer, because if you half the experience with these craft beers really is the aroma, and if you miss out on whiskey and sake and stuff if you don't have a little look at the aroma. But let's have a taste of this one then. I'm very, very curious to see what this beer is like. So this one is the Satanic Panic, an Imperial Stout at 10% ABV with espresso, lactose, vanilla, cocoa, oats and wheat. I think they said they'd put into this one, if I'm getting all 6 things there. 666, blah blah blah. So for review number 1666, I will thank you guys once again, and I will thank Satan for all the support that the channel has had over the last, what is it, about 5 years now, something like that. It's getting very, very close to 5 years. So thank you to you guys for watching the channel over all of these things. Hail Satan, and thank you to Norway and for creating black metal, of course, and for creating this beer. Let's get stuck into this one, the Satanic Panic Imperial Stout from Cervisiam in Oslo in Norway. Slange, skål. Yeah. So this one doesn't get a thumbs up, it gets the devil's horns. This is a monster of a beer. This is very, very nicely done. As I've been saying, I've been getting really, really into the coffee stouts recently, and this is another beautiful example of this little sub-style. Yeah, that's so well done. Cervisiam, I think I said it was it the Chocolate Salty Christmas Balls was the name of that beer. The one that I reviewed for you as my Christmas Day beer. That was a beautiful Imperial Stout, and I think these guys really have got a knack of the darker side of the spectrum. I need to try something from the IPA side of things or something like that, because they really do produce some awesome dark beers, these guys. So yeah, this one, it's definitely, my first impression of it is that it's leaning more towards the roasty toasty side of the Imperial Stout spectrum, but it's a beautiful beer. This is really nice. So if you get the chance to try this one, I think you won't be disappointed. Bear in mind though, with this one, I think I've got about 18 months of aging on this one, so your one might taste a little bit different from my one. I pretty much saw this one and didn't know whether it was a special edition or not, so I just bought it anticipating review 1666. So yeah, with this one, you can feel that nice roasty black malt base there. That just blankets the middle of your tongue. The lactosey flavours are kind of sitting on top of that, and you can feel the lactose just trying to smooth out the middle of your palate, and it has a nice kind of effect in there. But when the palate starts to dry out again, you get a little bit more kind of coffee bean flavour out of this one, which is really, really nice. I like how the coffee beans go together in this beer. And as I was mentioning, the coffee actually comes across, the espresso comes across as a lot more roasty and earthy. than it did in the Aroma. But that said, the further you've seen how long it was since I took a sip of this beer, the more you kind of concentrate on those coffee flavours, the more I think they're becoming a little bit more sort of floral. I'm not getting the same citrusy notes that I was picking out in the Aroma, but definitely there is a nice sort of floral grassy quality to the espresso in here, and that espresso, as I mentioned, it's kind of blanketed in the middle of your tongue as well, so it's almost like you've got three layers. You've got the roasty black malts, then you've got the lactosey quality, and then you've got the kind of you've got the sort of espresso beans, if you like, just sitting on top of that. So it's kind of got a triple layer to it, I guess, or triple base layer to it, this beer. But yeah, in the middle of your palate too, if you just go right into the centre of your palate there, you can feel the vanilla flavours are coming out nicely. The vanilla, I'm finding, is mixing very nicely with the chocolate. You've got this nice oily thing in the middle of your palate, which is vanilla and chocolate, and it gives the beer, the further you go into the aftertaste, the more the roasty black malts push out, and you start to get the impression of a higher percentage cocoa chocolate out of this one. But there is a sort of more milky aspect to the chocolate in here as well. The chocolate's really nicely balanced, and you can feel that just sitting in the very middle of your palate, and the vanilla starts to come out more the further into the aftertaste that you go, which is really quite nice. So yeah, the way the malt base and everything in this one goes together is nice. It's like layered underneath, but then it is almost just like layers. You've got so many layers in this Imperial Stout that's what makes it very, very interesting. But the middle of your palate is drying out a little bit, and it's starting to, you get more of the coffee beans and more of the kind of black malty qualities as well, which is interesting. Yeah. But this is a beautiful, beautiful beer. I mean, if we're talking about the Imperial Stout spectrum, it really does have a very good balance between the darker side of things and the more sweet side of things. It's really just very well balanced. So, you know, if you get the chance to try this beer, you're certainly not going to regret this. This is a beautiful, beautiful beer. I really like what Cervisiam have done with this one. I do like this one better than the chocolate salty Christmas balls, I have to admit. This one I think does feel a little bit more balanced. I remember the chocolate salty Christmas balls having a little bit of an almost phenolic, medicinal type quality to it, but this one I do like considerably better. But there was nothing wrong with chocolate salty Christmas balls, don't get me wrong. This one I think just is the superior beer, but as we always say, as I always try to say on the channel, you know, these beers are subjective. It's all about what you, pardon me, personally quite like in your beers. But to me, this is a beautiful Imperial Stout, and it's got a very good balance. I like the sweet stouts, I also like the Russian Imperial Stouts, and I like the big kind of roasty coffee ones these days as well. So yeah, this one's got a good balance between two very beautiful types of the Imperial Stout style. So for the hoppy side of things in this beer, in the back corners of the palate, you've got a nice little bit of earthiness there, but it smooths out a lot, and as you come towards the front corners of your palate, it is very, very smooth. You can detect a tiny little bit of a slightly floral aromatic note in this one. Then round the very front curve of the palate, you've got those typical lighter grassy notes to this beer. But yeah, this is really, really nicely done. And behind the front curve of the palate, of course, that's where you get that little oily bubble, where those juicy, fruity esters start to come out of the beer. And for me, this one, again, the fruits are really nice. I can actually feel some of the roasty black malt pushing towards the very front of the palate, which is kind of unusual in this one. I like how that works out though. But yeah, the fruity qualities for me, it's a nice sort of juicy figgy note, if you like. Yeah, it's got a nice juicy figgy quality to it. There's maybe a little bit of a raisiny sharpness in the beginning, but I'd say it's maybe more of a kind of sultana quality as well. And the further you go into the aftertaste, the more that red fruity element of the beer evolves into a sort of candied strawberry or candied kind of blackberry or something like that. It reminds me of the little heart-shaped sweets that you get in Haribo Star Mix. I like how everything is going together in this one. Yeah, again, this is just a beautiful beer. It's got a little bit of everything that you would want from an Imperial Stout. So I really like what they've done with this beer. So big thumbs up, or a big horns up to the guys at Cervisiam for this one. This is the best beer I've tried from them so far, albeit I have only tried 2 different beers from them. So yeah, if you like big coffee Imperial Stouts and you like the sweeter side of things, this one really has a beautiful balance between these two ends of the spectrum here. So in terms of the mouthfeel then, I would say this beer, it's at the bottom end of full bodied. The aftertaste in this one actually as well, I should comment about that. The aftertaste of this one becomes progressively more roasty. It's quite roasty and black, but then you still get some of the coffee smoothness and some of the sweetness just lingers in there as well. So it's got a very good balance again in the aftertaste between the roasty qualities and the sweeter side of things. So yeah, with the mouthfeel of this one, I would say bottom end of full bodied. Carbonation is quite smooth on this. It has a little bit of an oily mouthfeel, but at the same time it's quite wet. And again, this is something that you tend to get with Nordic beers, that you can taste that it's a little bit more of a minerally water that's in this one. Quite sensitive to that, of course, being Scottish, and you know we talk about water quality in our whiskies and stuff like this. But yeah, it is just very, very nicely done. The malt base, as I've mentioned to you, has it's layered, and it has a lot of good balance between the sweetness and the roasty side of things, as well as some smoothness from the coffee. The hops give the beer a little bit of bitterness too, and I would say this beer has to be around the sort of 70 IBU mark, something like that, 60 or 70 IBUs, maybe a little touch more. But yeah, and you've also got some lovely juicy fruity notes to it as well. So yeah, lovely, lovely beer this one, and I'm really glad that I was able to review this for you for review number 1666, Hail Satan. So yeah, big horns up to the guys at Cervisiam for this one. They've done a great job of this beer, and yeah, if you get the chance to try this, definitely have a go at it. Bear in mind that I reviewed this one with about 18 months or so of age on it. But yeah, really, really pleased with this one, and I thank you guys again for all your support that you've given the channel over the last nearly 5 years. So yeah, once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from Cervisiam, and hopefully I can return to these guys in the near future, particularly with one of their IPAs. So yeah, thanks again for watching, and I will catch you guys very soon. This was the Satanic Panic Imperial Stout at 10% ABV from Cervisiam in Oslo in Norway. Once again, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys very soon. Keep it satanic, and I will catch you guys later. Slàinte, Skål, Hail Satan.